recording here. Hey guys. Don't worry, you didn't miss a beat. Rats. So I'm pretty pleased with myself. I got my setup all done. It was really not cooperating this morning when I did my first run through. So, but usually what I do is I'll write on the iPad. It'll show up here, and I record these and I put them on YouTube. So if you miss a class, then you can just watch it on YouTube. Don't worry, it's really boring. 2 hours of me droning on and watching my screen kind of hack away. It's not that great, but it's something. And so I'll talk a little bit more about that, how you access it and stuff like that, but pretty self-explanatory. Okay. I'm also hosting these meetings online, right? So I know it's an 8 a.m. class. I know you're all really gung-ho to be here, but sometimes it's just nice if you can just join in from home, and that's totally fine, especially when the weather gets worse. I totally get it. So you're welcome to just join in my Zoom room, as it's called. And yeah, so for me, for my class, attendance, I honestly don't care. As long as you're getting through the work, then that's all I care about, okay? Which I know is different from your other courses, because then there's, you know, a lot of group work and a lot of lab work and a lot of work, right? And so it's going to be a little bit different for math, okay? But yeah, so like I said, attendance, I'll just put it out there, you're all adults. You can decide if you want to come to class or not. You do have to keep up with the material. Otherwise, I can't help you. Okay. All right. So before we get through this boring, where am I, who am I stuff, just, well, actually, does anyone have any questions for me before we get started? Not a one. Are you qualified to teach this course? Actually, I am. I haven't taught it before, but I've taught lots of math, and stats is my jam. So that's why I said yesterday, if you end up taking stats later on, it'll likely be with me. So that's always fun. But I think that's a little bit later in your program, depending on what stream you, pun intended, head down. Just got that. So anyways, I did my undergrad in math at UBCO, and then I did my master's in stats also at UBCO, and then I worked in industry, so research for me. For a while, it was terrible, and so I was offered a teaching job at UBCO. I took it, and then so I've been teaching for almost 5 years now. So, but yeah, like I said, mostly at UBCO actually. Now I'm kind of even with the college and UBCO. I've been doing some moonlighting, as they say, up there. So usually I teach here and there, but this term I'm just here, so that's nice. Yeah, what else? What kind of course is this? I can't remember who was asking me yesterday. What course is this? Is it just wet math? Who was asking me? Yeah. I thought so, right? Yeah, it's basically going to be like it's called math for water engineering technology. I'll just call it wet math. And I don't know, it's essentially a PreCalc course, just so you know kind of what we're doing, right? And so not heading into calculus, but just right on the brink, okay? So, you did your skills assessment yesterday. Yeah. Generally, I'd say it was really good. I don't know. I'd have a freak out if I had to do a skills assessment on the first day back from summer. Are you kidding me? And I did my undergrad in math. Even after a summer in my undergrad, I would be like, No. I need to warm up first. But you guys did really great. And so those are with Allison, but I'm pretty pleased with where you guys are at. So we will go through all that stuff. So like, don't think that, oh man, that was so terrible. That was the worst experience of my life. No way. But pretty close? No. Right, we will go through all those concepts. So if it felt good, then that's great. You can just sit back, relax, but we will cover all those concepts, so we will go through them all again. Okay, so not to worry, I'm not concerned. You're right where I expected you to be, so that's good. Okay. All right, you guys, were you all there when you stopped by my office? So I'm in C104 with Frank. So we share an office, best pals. No, but we do chat quite a bit. And so I'm over in the C building, which is where you guys will be hanging out anyways. So feels like home, right? Oh, here's my phone number. No one calls me. Don't worry about it. But I do want to add on here the unofficial. See, this is why I sit down for the rest of the term, because usually I'm just writing away, blah, 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 blah. I wanted to stand and talk to you all. But also my cell is 250-864-8386. If you have a question, you can probably just text it to me, okay? Often it's easier. I know email is what most profs prefer, just because it's like, oh, I didn't check my email. Yeah, right. Although that does happen sometimes when things slip through, but I need to reserve that excuse, actually. But no, so if you have a question, if you're working on something, and usually it's just easiest if you just take a picture of what you've done, send it to me, I'll look through it. Usually what I'll do is I'll work through my, like what I'm doing, send you a picture back, kind of, I don't know. It just makes it a little bit quicker. And also a little bit less threatening, hopefully, to ask questions, because I do want you to ask me questions, okay? And if I'm, doing something or I can't answer, then you'll just have to wait until I can answer, okay? Just like any other text, all right? But I'm always available, basically, okay? Oh yeah. My last name is Lee. I used to be Gustafson, so if you're cruising, rate my prof or whatever. It's too late now. But then it used to be Gustafson. I'll put that on here. Also because if you see Emily Gustafson anywhere, we're one and the same. Okay, I think it still says Emily Gustafson on my door. Look at all those E's. Emily Lee. Emily Lee. I know. Love, right? Yeah, 5 out of 9 E's. And also, I knew all these folks before I got married, so they just probably call me Gustafson still, but that's fine. Oh yeah, my email is on there. Picking office hours is always kind of a pickle because, well, no one shows up and you kind of know that going into it. There will be other times when you need help, and that's totally fine. So these office hours are just something to have on paper where I'm guaranteed to be in my office, but I'm usually in my office. Okay, so if I'm in there and you have a question, then just stop by and ask me, because if I'm in there, then I'm all yours. Okay? And so I've got kind of official Tuesdays and Thursdays, 10 to 12, or anytime by appointment. Even the by appointment part is a little bit, yeah, whatever. but yeah, so if you want to make sure that I'm there, then just let me know. Send me a text and be like, hey, can I meet you at 1 or whatever? All right. I think I saw you guys have a class after this, typically in your schedule. Do you? Does anyone know? Oh, but in a typical week, I mean. Yeah, right? For an hour, I think. Yeah. I know I was looking at an old schedule, but usually these kind of cohorts don't change that much. So I think that's what's going on. So I went to 12, but I don't have class till 3, so I'll be around till 3. But anyways. Okay. So basically, ask me questions, ask me lots of questions. Don't be afraid. Yeah.
So are we actually in class Tuesday and Thursdays for this week?
Yeah.
Okay, so this schedule is changed. It only shows one day and one time at 8 to 9.
That's because Thursdays on your schedule are.
Oh yeah, so Tuesday, Thursday is usually denoted by TR. Is that what it says? Oh. Yeah. Well, I guarantee you we'll be here for Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8 to 10, or 9:50, 9:45 if we're lucky. And that's myself included. I don't know. I still get excited when I see like class cancellation notices on the door. Yes. Oh, I haven't given it to you, but I can. You can just search Emily Lee. Yeah. Emily spelled funny, and then Lee. Pretty sure I'm the only one on there. But anyways, yeah. But I'll post the link on Moodle, and then you can just click on the link. Yeah.
Sorry, so if we miss class or like can't be here, we can only access those videos like from 8 to 10, or we're always there.
They'll always be there. Oh. So they'll be there throughout the whole term. Well, actually forever until I run out of space. Do you run out of space? I don't know. I'm new to YouTube.
Okay. So it's not like you can just access it this time.
No. The Zoom room, so the meeting room, the online meeting room, that will only be available while I'm on my iPad and kind of working here and we have class. So if you want to join in virtually at the same time, then that's through the Zoom room, which I'll also post the link to. But the Zoom room number is actually just myself. So, but I'll show you guys how to do it. Now I'm kind of worried, how do I show you how to log into Zoom while still staying on Zoom? Oh, we'll see. Anyways. Okay, that's good. But yeah, so 2 options, kind of join in during class or anytime after class, it'll be on YouTube. I do have to kind of download them and upload the video. So usually I do that at the end of the day. So it won't be available on YouTube immediately, but pretty close to. Okay. I know it sounds nice to have the lectures on YouTube, but it actually puts a lot of the onus on you guys to kind of keep up with the material because it's out there. And so I do expect you to go through that material before you come see me, unless, you know, it was something urgent that you missed or anything like that. But yeah, so I do expect you guys to kind of keep track of your learning, right? Crazy, right? All right. Any other questions about that? Because I don't think a lot of profs are doing this, so it's kind of new, I guess. But you guys are the YouTube generation, so you can handle it. All right. So blah, 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 blah. Textbook. So we're going to be using an ebook, a free ebook. Is it amazing? No, not really, but that's all right. It's free. So as far as free goes, it's good. I posted, did I keep my Moodle page up? I posted, might need me to log in. I don't know. I just let my computer generate it. It was a big mistake. Big mistake. I'm telling you. So I can't wait for it to make me reset my password again. But it was running out of combinations. It's like, well, I can't give, you'll take me down with my one password. Anyways, I posted, well, you've got your course outline here that we're going through sort of, and then we've got the textbook there. You can also go to stitzziger.com, I think it is. And yeah. Moodle page is a work in progress. What I'm gonna do is I will have them broken down by weeks, and then I'll tell you what you have to do to prepare for that week, right? Readings, etc. To prepare, nothing except fret over your skills assessment, but that's done now, so you did it. I just put my information up there, same as the course outline. I usually get caught up in like trying new technology, so do you guys know, I'm sure they've told you, but do you guys know that you get Office 365 for free through the college? Yeah, okay. So, and they just released this Teams thing. So Teams, and then there's a Teams classroom. But it seems like they're still working on some bugs, but that was really cool. So I wanted to try that, but I decided to put the brakes on it for this term and let them figure out those bugs first. But so this is like the first term where I'm not adopting any new technology. It feels weird. But anyways. So yeah, so we've got this pre-calculus ebook. There you have it. It's pre-calc, plain and simple. Of course, I just stole this note from someone else. Remember to fully respect the copyright of the authors and the owners. Great, it's free, so do whatever you want. There is, so I posted kind of the bare bones textbook. There is another version on the website where it has like, oh, if you're struggling with this problem, you can click on this link and it'll tell you. So they've kind of hyperlinked to a bunch of other resources like Khan Academy if it applies, or so they've kind of gone through and done that. So if you have a poke around there, right, that might be a funner version to have than the plain one that we're using. It's the same, but it's got those little resources kind of embedded in it, which is pretty cool. I guess they ran out of funding. I was reading on the page, so they weren't able to finish the whole textbook, but basically all that we'll be doing looks like it's been worked through, so academia, right? Oh, no funding? I guess I'm not doing it. So, all right, to be frank, I stole all this from Bevan, who taught it last year. Turns out these section numbers don't match the textbook, so I'm not sure. So he's busted, but also he took me down with him because I had just copied and pasted, copy past that. But anyways, these are the concepts that we'll go through, and I'll figure out the proper section numbers later. Okay? So it's going to be a lot of review of kind of basic algebra and that kind of thing. Yeah, algebra mostly. And then we'll talk a lot about functions, which is kind of algebra, right? Like solve for x, that kind of thing. how does this thing behave, right? Because a lot of the time, the reason that you will need math is because you're modeling some behavior, right? And so to do that, you need a function. And so you need to be able to work with functions inside and out, okay? And then we end on some trig, your favorite sine, cosine, tangent. Oh, don't say tangent. I know. But we'll finish on some trig, okay? Which, I mean, trig's everywhere, unfortunately. I hate it as much as you do. No, that's not true. I hate it more. No. There's learning outcomes. Usually, the learning outcomes, you can look through them at the end of the term and feel good about yourself, right? Because these are some concrete skills that you are expected to walk out of this course with. Doesn't look like a lot, but don't worry, it is. So, anyways, more importantly, course evaluation. How are you going to get these grades? These grades that you desperately need. We're going to do quite a few assignments. I decided that the skills assessment yesterday, that'll count as an assignment just for a completion mark. So congratulations. You have 100% in assignments already. Pretty good, right? Sometimes when things get busy, I do that. I'll just give you a completion mark. So it's always a good idea to just hand in whatever you have for assignments. I'm not saying that I do that often, but things get out of hand and kind of towards the middle of the semester. Middle to end is usually mayhem for me. And so sometimes just handing it in gets you 100%, and that's pretty good. So for me, I will accept late assignments, but I'm going to dock 20% per day, okay? And then I'll hand them back, and once they're handed back, of course, I can't accept anymore, okay? So as long as I haven't, bless you, as long as I haven't handed it back, then yeah, you can still hand it in. 20% is actually quite a bit, so I don't know, weigh your options. Often it's just nice to kind of get it off your plate, even if it's incomplete, right? Probably puts you at the 80% mark anyways. All right. Anyways, that's just advice, I guess. So assignments are going to be 20%, and there's going to be 2 tests, and I've just said 40%. Okay, we'll start off where they're split evenly, 20%, 20%. But if I find that, you know, test 1 was just terrible, then I'll shift your weight to test 2, right? Or even if test 1 and test 2 are terrible, but then you do amazing on the final, as long as we're progressing, right? So as long as you're improving, I can shift weights around, right? I reserve that right, okay? And so as long as you feel like, man, I can really do better, that's good. Right, so don't let that bog you down. A bad test or a bad first test, it's not going to matter as long as you really pull up your pants and get to work, right? Work on test 2 and work on the final, right? So there's always hope, and so that's why I've said just 40%. To start, we'll just split it evenly, right? But like I said, I'll just kind of play around with it and see where it puts you. Okay. Typically, so I haven't picked any official dates, but typically these tests are at the beginning of October and the beginning of November, right before the long weekend. Nice to have it before the long weekend instead of after, I think. But I think a lot of profs do that, so it's going to be a busy time for you guys, but it's just how it is. If you miss a test, then, so I've got the official kind of on compassionate grounds or medical, whatever, with supporting documents, whatever. I do not offer makeup tests. Okay. If you miss a test, and honestly, for whatever reason, I'm just going to put that weight on your final exam. Okay. Unless, you know, you feel like that's really not going to work for me, then yeah, you can come talk to me. But that's in general, that's what I do. But I don't offer makeup tests. Okay. So just miss a test, gets shifted to the final. Not a good idea to just skip a test because you're just gonna bank on it being on the final. It's really not good, especially because I'll just, if you bomb that first test, I'll just shift it to the final anyways, right? Assuming that you do better, but at least you have some grades to play around with. In general, the more grades that I have to work with, right, then the more I can do for you. Okay? I know the end goal here is a good grade. I know that. And I'm happy to give it to you if you put in the work. Okay? And so, yeah, it's kind of a give and take. Okay? And of course, the final exam is cumulative, and it's held in the final exam period, and it's going to be 40% of your grade. Right? So a hefty chunk. Okay? And that schedule, the final exam schedule, is usually available kind of middle of term. Don't worry, you'll know when it's available. It'll be the only thing the campus is talking about. Final exam schedule, the final exam schedule. There's department policies which kind of contradict what I've said in my policies. All written assignments, no late assignments, blah, 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 grade of 0, very strict. Anyways, so I've kind of loosened those up, but those are our department policies, and I've just made them a little bit more flexible. One little note, though, that I do want to say, you do have to get at least 45% on the final exam to pass the course, right? So even if 45% on the final gets you a pass overall, I will have to bump you down to 49%, right? But it's not really anything to worry about. If you feel like you know half of the material in this course, you should get 50% on the final, right? Give or take. So it's not, I don't know, it's not unreasonable, but let's talk calculators. So like I was saying, I went to the bookstore yesterday looking for this beauty. It's nowhere to be found. Talked to Carla, who does the buying, and she said, oh no, these are the engineering ones. I said, no, they're not. Not for what they're not. So this little guy is not in the bookstore, and I should have checked that sooner, but Allison also thought that they had been ordered, so I don't know. Anyways, they should be there, they're not. Not to worry, I'll use this one, but if you have one that is kind of similar, main things being, does it have sine, cosine, tangent capabilities, making it a scientific calculator, right? Then you're good. The only thing would be, I'm gonna use this one, so when I show you how to do things, it'll be on this one, okay? But if you're working on a different one, then, and you're having troubles kind of replicating what we did, then we can just YouTube it together, or you can YouTube it on your own, yeah.
What's the exact model number of the one you're holding?
It is FX, let me put it on here. It's Casio. Oh, what happened? My pen's done. Sorry. FX 991EX. Casio FX 991EX.
Did we have a different calculator?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. As long as it's a scientific calculator. Yeah. Yeah.
So I have like a graphing calculator there. It says there, since I can't use it on exams, I probably want to get one. So that I learn how to actually use it.
Yeah, I love my graphing calculator. Don't get me wrong. And here's my take on graphing calculators. Yes, you can program them, but one, does anyone know how to do that? No. Two, if you've gone ahead and programmed things into your calculator, joke's on you, you learned it. So, because you've spent so much time trying to program it. But also, great, you know how to program it. Like, that's a good skill to have. So for me personally, yeah, I have nothing against graphing calculators, but just so we're all on the same playing field, we'll go scientific. Yeah. But yeah. For exams, I will bring a few. So I think I've got 3 in my possession. So I will bring a few because there's always someone forgot their calculator, that kind of thing. But yeah, so there will be 3 first come, first serve during tests and exams. Okay. Oh, but I was looking on Amazon. There's a very similar calculator, but you can get it in pink. I know the whole room is excited about that. But very similar. What's nice about this one is it has the multi-line display, right? So it doesn't just have the 1 line, but it has 2 lines. I don't know. It's just a perk, I guess. Right? But yeah, so for the calculator fiasco, any scientific calculator will do. I think the idea with all having the same calculator was just so that when I show you how to do things, we'll all have the same buttons essentially, but that's all right. We'll make do. Yeah.
I just found it on Amazon, and if you have Prime, it will get you like in time for the next time. Just a heads up.
Oh, what? Yeah. It's on sale. Hopefully everyone has Prime. Hey, sharing is caring, guys. Thank you. That's fair. That's fair. Time to switch to deliveries. Yeah. All right. So if you do have a question about your specific calculator, will this be fine? Will it not be fine? Then just ask me. Okay. But yeah, sorry about that calculator mix-up. You will get a formula sheet. I'm not giving it to you today. I'm not giving you any papers today because that's not what first days are about. Well, I guess they kind of are, but not for me. Anyways, if you want a printed copy of the course outline, then just ask me and I'll get you one. But I don't print them. It's like 6 pages of you'll never read. So we're going through it together. But yeah, it's posted on Moodle. In general, if there is something that you need, right? So if there's, I'll always offer printouts and that kind of thing. But if there is something that you need to succeed, then just ask me and I'll try to make it work. Okay. But yeah. And then, lucky for me, I'm pretty sure Allison walked you through all these. Don't cheat, be nice to each other, be nice to me. I think that's it. No. I should have flipped those. Be nice to me, be nice to each other, and don't cheat. Yeah, anyways, it's all on there. Let's see here. We talked about where you find me. We talked about the course outline. Okay, so my Zoom room is just 250-864-8386. And it won't be in the recording, but I wonder if I can show you on here. I know I show up double fisting iPads here. Okay, so here's Zoom. I think it's just this little guy here. Okay. Usually I think it'll almost force you to download the client. That's fine, we all can all handle apps, right? And so you go into Zoom and then it'll ask you to join a meeting. And then it'll ask, okay, well, what's your meeting ID? I'm actually not even so sure that it needs you signed in, right? So you don't even really need an account, I think, but it was a long time ago that I set this up. So here we just enter 250-864-8386, and then you can change your name if you want, and then you can join. And so this is if you're joining class virtually during the class time to hear others, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Please join audio. I guess you'll have to turn your audio on, but I'll just cancel because it makes a weird chirping noise. But anyway, so here, this iPad has just joined the meeting that I'm hosting here, right? And so this is what you would see at home. So it's even Steven. At home, here in class, doesn't matter. But like I said, I'll post the link to the Zoom room, and then, bless you. And then on YouTube, I'll post the link there too, but you can just search Emily Lee. I think there's one that comes up first, EMILY, bless you. She's way more famous than me. I have I've got a ton of videos. So it's all my lectures from last year, but besides that, it's not very interesting. Okay. So, have you guys all hooked up your email to your Moodle account? Right. So if I send you an announcement on Moodle, because that's unfortunately the easiest way for me to contact everyone at once is through an announcement. And so just make sure that it's going to your personal email so you don't have to log into your My Okanagan every time or wherever it goes. I'm not even sure. Yeah, perfect. So just make sure everything's all hooked up to your personal email and then you'll be all set. Okay. Because I will assume that you get those messages. So if you need help, then, I don't know, IT is usually pretty helpful. Calculator, skills assessment, great. I know they talked to you about the Learning Center. I really can't stress it enough. That's free tutoring available to you, okay? And so Kate Sidlar is kind of our main squeeze in the wet department. Okay, and I think, did you guys meet her yesterday? The day before? Okay. But I'll put it on here in the Learning Center. We're gonna talk to Kate Sidlar. If you do have questions and things, there are other people, but she's the most familiar with kind of what we're doing here. And I've been working with Kate, and so she kind of knows. She's on our Moodle page, and so she knows the resources that I've given you and that kind of thing. So, of course, if it's just a normal math question, anyone in there will be able to help you. Okay. All right. Any questions? No? So it's a classic first day. Go through the course outline. Check. basically tell you all about everything. That's all I got on my list.
I just get all the assignments now.
Get all the assignments?
Yeah.
Yeah, if I had made them. So, in theory, yes.
Where's a good place to find practice assignments, practice assignments?
Yeah, the textbook will, so I'll post things. I know it's, it's easy for me to say, oh, they're all in the textbook. Yeah, go through and do them. But I know as a student, it's hard to look at something and be like, do I need to know this? Right, and so what I'll do is I'll give you assignments, but I'll also give you extra practice problems that kind of help you prepare for those. And often I'll pick kind of, if there's solutions in the back for the even numbers, I'll pick an odd one that's the same, so then you can kind of find those similar problems. But yeah, as we go through, if I do find that you need more practice problems, I'll make them and I'll give them to you. Okay?
Do your assignments here, or do we just have them in here?
Oh, great. I think I had it in here, but I forgot to mention it. So for assignments are due at the beginning of class, right? Here physically, even if you can't make it, what I want you to do / need you to do to get marks, otherwise I dock you 20%, is you'll have to just text me a picture of your completed assignment, right? So take pictures of all your pages, text them to me, kind of proof of life, if you will, right? And then, because then I know, okay, well, this is what was completed at the due time, right? And then you'll have to hand in your physical copy because I hate marking pictures. I'm done doing that. Like, no, so I'm not doing that anymore. So if you text them or email them to me, that's fine. But yeah, so you'll have to somehow get me your assignment on time. Okay, so there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. After the beginning of class, I dock 20%. Right. But yeah, so if you're running late or you can't make it, then just send me pictures or hand it in early. There's an idea. That's fine. You can always just slip it under my door. Even though it's a shared office, we all know who's teaching what, and we're pretty good at figuring out what goes where. And so just slip it under my door, even if I'm not there. If you want to get it in. Okay? But yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Yeah.
Oh, that skills assessment, you said Allison.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know if we're gonna see that, or, I mean, I answered a good chunk of it, whether it was right, is it totally like?
I think you can ask Allison if you want to see it. Yeah. Yeah. But I think on the first day we'll go through very similar questions. This is not our first day. It's like a zero, day zero. No. But yeah, I think that'll be a good warm up just to kind of go through some of those together. Yeah, any other questions? None?
I guess this course is kind of building up the math skills. I know I took university, I took a math class. I showed up the first day. I was like, oh, this shit up the board. People beside me are like, ooh, really good. And I was like, I don't even know what these symbols are.
All these sigmas and deltas, yeah. No. No, for now, I reserve the right to change my statement. But yeah, I'm like, no. But yeah, we'll be building up. Yeah. Oh, I guess I should let you guys in. So my husband lives in Ottawa, and so I fly out there about every other weekend. And so if I'm not in my office, then usually I'm in Ottawa if I'm here, then I'm usually on campus. There's nothing else for me. No, that sounds really sad, but it's true. So when I'm here, I'm here, and if I'm not, then I'm usually in Ottawa. Okay, so yeah, so that's a little hard, but I was just there for the whole summer, so that's nice. So he's with the military, just to explain why we do that. So he's with the military, so he was posted to Ottawa. He only owes 1 more year, so we've done it for 2, so last year here. But yeah, so we'll see. But anyways, so that kind of explains if I'm not here, then like I said, just text me or email me. I'll always have my phone on,
And
except on the plane.
congratulations, then, too.
Pardon?
I said congratulations, then, too.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, thanks. But yeah, so anyways, kind of me. But any questions? No?
Are you qualified to teach this course?
Hey, I already answered that. Make me sweat up here. No. Any other questions? You are free to go. And enjoy your weekend. Well, not yet, but soon. Although tomorrow looks like a fun day. Just line paper is fine, yes. Yeah, so far. Yeah. So KLO runs this way. So you'll want to walk towards and then you'll kind of turn to the right and
Can't miss it.
keep walking. I don't walk in yeah, let's see here. Sine, cosine, tan. Yeah, I'm using very basic math before. See, as long as you kind of know your calculator, I prefer that. Go over some of there you go.
So the graph calculator is
Pardon?
the graph calculator.
No, so what you can do if you want for tests, you can borrow one. So for homework and assignments, this one's fine.
Okay.
Right? So for working at home, that's okay. But for tests, you'll have to have something that just has like sine,
But
cosine.
they also have sine cosine.
Yeah, but it's like graph. I know,
Okay.
because I love this one. But yeah, we have to be fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But anything that kind of looks like this is fine.
So it's only in test I have to use.
High risk to low risk.
Because I use in the high school, so I'm more familiar with this.
Totally. Yeah, you bet. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We'll go through it in class. So don't worry. We will go through it all together. Yeah.